Hello ladies and gents, how you doing? Welcome to another video from Mr. Michael's channel for extraordinary young people just like you. This is a video about the O-Level English Language Exam Paper 1 Task 1, which is called Directed Writing, and we are focusing upon speech writing, and this is part 2 of a 3 video series. If you haven't watched part 1, go do that first. Go on. And assuming that you have watched part 1, here are your learning objectives for this video. The first thing that we're going to do, we always do that first. We're going to review some vocabulary. And then we're going to talk about bullet point paragraphs. How do we write them? And then after that, production phase 1 means you are going to have a go at writing your own bullet point paragraph. And then we're going to talk about conclusions. How do you write a good conclusion? And then finally, production phase 2 means that you are going to write your own conclusion. So lots of work for you to be doing during this session. Let's get started with our retrieval practice. All 3 of these words are words that you will have come across before. I would like you to write down a definition or a synonym for each word optimally from your memory. If you can't do it from your memory, I suppose, never mind, you'll have to look it up. Can you do that now, please? Pause the video. In 3, 2, 1. Okay, the first word is ivory, and ivory is a material which is taken from the tusks of elephants, or maybe even walruses. And ivory can be used for a number of different purposes. It can be used for furniture and other things like that. It's a very expensive, but also very controversial commodity. The second word is rickety, and synonyms for the word rickety are shaky or unsteady. So something that is rickety might be old and not in the best of conditions. And the last word is haughty. Haughty means to be proud or to be conceited. Haughty has a negative meaning. It means somebody is a little bit, looking down their nose at other people. And before we get started with some new material, how about this? How many paragraphs should a directed writing task contain? If you've watched video number 1, you will know the answer to that. Pause the video, have a think, and don't look in your notes. Try and remember. Pause the video now, please. In 3, 2, 1. Well, a directed writing task should always contain 5 paragraphs. What are those paragraphs, I hear you ask? The first one is the introduction, and the last one is the conclusion, and then there are 3 bullet point paragraphs in between corresponding to the bullet points in the directed writing task question. Here's another bit of retrieval practice for you. What are the 3 parts to an effective introduction? Pause the video now and have a think, please. In 3, 2, 1. Well, the 3 parts to an effective introduction. The first part is to begin the piece of writing in the way that you have been instructed in the question. So the question will tell you your opening words. The second part of an effective introduction is general opening remarks, some words about the topic. And the third part of an effective introduction is what's called a content statement, when you paraphrase the bullet points, explaining to the reader what you are going to do in your piece of writing. If you're confused about those things, you need to go back to part 1 of the video and check them again. Now, here is a reminder of the past paper question that we were using in the last lesson and we will be using in this lesson. So pause the video and have a read of that now. In 3, 2, 1. And here is the model answer that we will be using today. What I would like you to do is, first of all, if you don't have a copy already, you should take a screenshot of this. And secondly, I would like you to pause the video now and read through the model answer again. Off you go. In 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Now remember, in our learning objectives, the first thing that we said we were going to do is to write a bullet point paragraph. So in front of you is one of the bullet point paragraphs from the model answer. Now the first question for you is, I would like you to read through the paragraph and I would like you to work out which of the bullet points is this paragraph addressing. Pause the video now and read through. In 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much. Well, this paragraph is addressing bullet point number 2. Bullet point number 2 says why the shop is so busy and successful. If you look at the sentence in red in the model answer, it says the shop is always busy and is very profitable. Therefore, you can tell from the sentence in red which of the bullet points that the paragraph is addressing. We call the sentence in red a topic sentence because it tells the reader the topic of the forthcoming paragraph. So the topic sentence says the shop is always busy and is very profitable. The paragraph continues. There are 2 reasons for this. The first is that the shop always has the most up-to-date shoes produced by respected brands, often before they are available in other shops. So this is called the first key point, and this is a reason why the shop is always busy and why the shop is very profitable or successful. But we don't just list key points when we're writing a paragraph. We have to add some further information, and you can see that in the sentence in blue. This means that people will always check our shop before looking elsewhere. So after we have mentioned the key point or the reason why the shop is always busy and profitable, we then have to explain, or we have to provide an example. And the explanation in this paragraph is written in blue. And then you can see there's a second reason. The second reason is that Footy is a pleasant, friendly place to shop. Well, okay, that's cool, but now can you provide me with an explanation? Sure, no problem. It has a relaxed and welcoming atmosphere, and the staff are friendly and reliable. This means that we have built a large group of customers who keep coming back. So therefore, there are three parts to a successful bullet point paragraph. The first one is a topic sentence, the second one is a key point, and the third one is an explanation. As you can see in this paragraph, there are two key points, key point 1 and key point 2. And after each key point, there is an explanation. So this is the structure that I would like you to use. First of all, I would like you to write that down, the structure in your notes, and have a look at the bottom. It says repeat ? Because in our model answer paragraph, we didn't just have one key point, we had two key points. Usually in a paragraph, you're going to have two key points. So if you have more than one key point, you will obviously also need to provide an explanation for the second key point. Please pause the video and write these in your notes now. Okay, good. So now you have a picture of the structure of a bullet point paragraph. Well, why not do it yourself? This is production phase number 1. Your task is to write a bullet point paragraph for bullet point number 1. And you can see the red arrow indicating it there on the screen. Use the plan you produced last lesson for some ideas, and then follow the structure presented on the last slide. I want you to write about 100 to 120 words approximately for this paragraph. You can, of course, have more than one key point, but each key point that you introduce, you will also need to provide an explanation. Please pause the video and do your writing task now. In 3, 2, 1, done, easy peasy. Let's move on. Can you please name the 3 parts of a bullet point paragraph? Use your memory, don't look in your book. Pause the video now, please. In 3, 2, 1, I hope you haven't forgotten that already. The first part of a bullet point paragraph is the topic sentence. The second one is the key point, and the third one is the explanation or the example. And as we've mentioned before, you might want to include more than one key point in each paragraph. So the final thing that we have to do in a speech is we have to produce a conclusion. I've provided you with the model answer conclusion there. Please pause the video for a moment and just read through it once. In 3, 2, 1. So let me read the conclusion to you. To conclude my speech, I would like to say how beneficial it has been for me as a person to work at Footy. You can see to conclude my speech is highlighted in red. That's because I want you to use a concluding linker, such as to conclude my speech, or in conclusion, or to conclude. Why is that? Because I want the examiner to see that you are bringing your piece of writing to an end. Make sure that you include a concluding linker, please. I recommend that anyone who can work a part-time job does so, as it will help you to grow and learn. You will not forget it. These are called closing remarks. Any sentence or any idea which is appropriate to bring your piece of writing to an end. Obviously, it has to be related to the topic that you have been writing about. Now, in a speech, it's appropriate for you to say, "Thank you for listening," because obviously a speech generally is spoken. You need to have a suitable final sentence. In a speech, you can say, "Thank you for listening." So here is the structure of a conclusion. We're going to begin with a concluding linker. In conclusion, to conclude my speech. And then you're going to have some closing remarks, a sentence or two about the topic that you've been writing about. And finally, you're going to have an appropriate ending, which in the case of a speech could be something like, "Thank you for listening." Please write that structure down in your notes. Pause the video now. In 3, 2, 1. Excellent. So now you have an idea as regards how to write the conclusion. So show me what you got. This is production phase number 2. Produce a conclusion to your essay in response to the past paper question above. Follow the structure presented on the last slides, and we're looking for approximately 30 to 50 words. Please pause the video and do that now. In 3, 2, 1. Right, before we end, let's have some retrieval practice. Can you name the 3 parts of a conclusion? You should be able to. Pause the video and have a think, please. Don't look in those notes. Okay, do that now, please. In 3, to one. Okay, the three parts of a conclusion are a concluding linker, closing remarks, and an appropriate ending. Make sure that you remember that for the future. And that's pretty much it, ladies and gents. Let's do the plenary together quickly. Can you please name the three parts of a bullet point paragraph? You definitely should be able to do that. What is a topic sentence, ladies and gentlemen? Think about that. And finally, tell me a synonym for the word haughty. I appreciate your time. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to working with you again in the future. Take it easy. Goodbye.